Now, why my Bisquick mix is all mixed up and sitting to the side, my husband and my kids they love any kind of soup I make. And I always hear all the time from my husband, you need to write these down, these recipes that you make, so we have them, God forbid anything happens to you. I really don't follow a recipe. Now, I was taught to cook by my mother, and she always told me the good base of any soup, you always want to use sweet onion. So I have about a quarter of a sweet onion. Now I buy the real big fat round ones. So I use about a quarter of the onion and I chop it up really small. Now my husband claims he's allergic to onions. He hates onions. But hey, I cook with him all the time and he doesn't even know it. And then I use, either two smaller size, stalks of celery or two large ones. Really whatever kind of celery you have. Now, we're not crazy on celery. We really don't like it, but I use it in my soup. That makes a really good soup. So I dice it up really little. Now, I do cheat and I buy the minced garlic. So I'll use about maybe a quarter teaspoon, something equivalent to about 2 cloves of garlic. I do make up my beef bouillon broth, and I always use East Better Than Bouillon brand roasted chicken based flavoring. Now they make this in the beef, like a roast beef flavor. They make it in a vegetable, and they make it in a ham flavor, and then the roasted chicken. And I actually use them all. They make a really good broth for soups, stews, gravies, and it's quick and easy, and it tastes like your meat had roasted all day in your broth. Now I do canning. Now last year we grew potatoes in our garden, so I have a pint size potatoes. We did buy carrots last year for an Amish farmer, and I canned them. So I'm using carrots. I'm also using green beans that we grew in our garden last year. You can see these were grown and packaged on 8/8/2020. And one other thing I do, and really you have to be a seasoned, really good at canning, canner person to do this. You can can meat. Now when you're canning meat, it's not pretty. This is what they would call ugly chicken. And this was made back on April 14th, 2020. Canning meat is so easy. You just basically cut it up raw. You put it in the jar, a sterilized jar. You add boiling water. You remove the air bubbles and you process it. Now, meat does process for like 90 minutes. It does take a long time. What I love about processing meat like chicken and beef cubes, when you go to take it out of the jar, it's falling off the bone, kind of so to speak. It's real soft. It feels like it's been cooking all day, and it has really good flavor. Now, whenever I'm making my chicken and dumplings, or I'm making any kind of a chicken soup, my family loves cream of chickens, condensed soup added. So I'll add that along with my broth. And sometimes I'll add evaporated milk. Maybe not the whole can, but enough to fill the pot up a little bit. Now today I am putting Bisquick mix on top to do like dumplings. So I don't really want my soup in my pot to be too high. Now I'll probably have my soup up to about that mark in the pot, probably up to the top of my knuckle. So I have room for my dumplings to kind of rise up. So basically all I'm going to do is add about 2-3 tablespoons of olive oil in here. If you don't have olive oil, you can use vegetable oil. And I'm going to fry up my garlic, my celery, and my onions, and fry them up for a few minutes on like a medium to low kind of heat until my onions turn clear and my celery is soft. But I want to make sure I don't burn them. Now, if you don't have time and you don't process your own chicken, one quick cheat sheet kind of thing to do is get a rotisserie chicken at the supermarket. You can buy them pre-made, hot in their hot bar area. You can grab one of those, break it down, cut the meat off of it, and use that in any kind of soup as well. So there's many options. So basically, I'm just going to throw this soup together. So after my celery, carrots, and garlic are fried up pretty good and they're ready, I'm going to add my beef bouillon, and then I'm going to drain my ugly chicken that's canned in a jar, and I'm going to shred it up and add it to my pot. And then I'm going to drain my potatoes, my carrots, and my green beans. And then I'm going to add that to the pot as well. And I'll let that boil a while. Now, remind you, my chicken and all my vegetables are pre-cooked already, so they're all soft. They won't need to cook long in the pot. And that's one nice thing about canning. I hope my children someday can as well. I've been bugging them to learn how to do it. I'm like a third generation to do it. They really should learn this skill. But anyway, I sometimes will just use whatever I have on my canning shelf. Some days I'll throw like navy beans in there or northern beans in there. Sometimes I'll throw some frozen peas in there, basically whatever you have on hand. Now, I'm making the soup strictly from what I have on hand in my pantry. I keep a very well-stocked pantry. So I'm going to throw my soup together and I'm going to get it going.